Everybody start breathing. Thank you all for coming here today. It was great doing and being involved in the teleconference today at 12:30 and been and connecting in with people around the world on this day. And I'm going to go talk about some of the things that I talked about on the teleconference. There's millions of people today basically doing the same thing we're doing right here, right now. They're basically putting everything aside from their daily lives and coming together in unity. One of the main things regarding 11/11/11 is that it's a time gate that we actually put in place. The higher levels of our own consciousness and being basically put this time sequence in place. That started, of course, several years ago. The same thing as 8/8/08, 9/9/9. 10/10/10, 11/11/11, and 12/12/12 is the final part of the sequence. The sequence in itself is not connected with the astrological calendar because it's actually sort of stepping stones of ascension codes that are connected with the astrological calendar, but it also is separate from it. That's actually in place by, again, the higher levels of our own consciousness. And us here in physical form are actually completing and grounding these sequence codes and source codes within the earth, and also the collective conscious grids here on earth also. So, on October 28th, a few weeks ago, was the actual end of the real mind calendar. That's the actual end. It's not 2012, but that was the actual end date of the real cycle of the 26,000 year cycle. There are actually several cycles that are coming and actually starting again right now, not on the same date, but all within this time, say periods of years right now. The actual 11/11/11 today, and the time period between the 28th and today, is really the amping up of the energies coming onto the earth and integrating into the earth that are actually the beginning of the new age, the new cycle. Everything that's going to happen in the days and months ahead, including 2012, are only what's actually being the first year of the new age. You might have heard other people say in the last year that 2011 was the year of choice. And in a lot of ways, we were waking up to who we were to a great degree, waking up to who we are as a collective to a greater degree. A lot of people making choices if they wish to choose between love of self or fear of self. And these choices will continue. 2011 in itself is the year of choice. But as moving forward, we're actually moving and integrating more of our own source light, which means we're stepping into the roles of our God selves. One of the things you've probably seen already in this last year or so is that the more source light is grounded on Earth, it manifests everyone's, whatever anyone focus on, to a higher degree. We're moving into the space now in the years and months ahead, actually grounding and being the God selves that we are, the actual creator selves that we are. That God consciousness has no delay regarding our manifesting power. It's what we focus on automatically manifests. You guys can see right here. Manifests where automatically it's there's no delay, sort of like a lot of you may have experienced that your whatever you focus on is either that is fear or a downward spiral thought or anything is amplified. When we step into our God consciousness, basically the veils of our, say, levels of our consciousness that are still in, say, duality are dissolving away. And that means it's also called 0 point. 0 point energy, 0 point consciousness means that you are your embodiment of your God monad consciousness. And what that does is everyone on Earth is integrating more source light, even though they might not be aware of what they're doing. But whatever anyone on Earth is focusing on right now, today, or in the days or months ahead, is going to continue to be magnified to where whatever you do focus on, either a thought, emotion, fear, is essentially amplified by 100 times. But at the same time, it goes in both directions. What you focus on in oneness, love without conditions, unity, non-duality consciousness of loving all energies in all forms, all beings in all forms that exist within this quadrant of creation. Basically loving everything without conditions. You focus on those things, again, your power is magnified by hundreds of times. So we all have this, everyone is integrating more source light. And this is the reason why there's so many polarities focusing and, say, really showing themselves on Earth right now, is because what everyone is focusing on is basically being created even that much faster and more powerfully. You could view every single thing we're doing here today and everyone else around the world that are focusing on love and unity today as simple thought forms. The more we step into our God self roles, the power of our thoughts are then amplified even more. You could view all of our thoughts now that we're actually thinking right now and everyone else as individual cells within, say, one body, say our own body. These thought forms are flowing through the bloodstream. So every single thought that we are putting out right now is thoughts flowing through the veins, which are basically the grids of consciousness on Earth. It's these thought forms that the more thought forms, of course, of love, unity, say just the overall unity beyond separation. Doesn't really matter if someone is not aware of their own God selves, but actually starting to see that everyone, it doesn't really matter what they're doing on Earth right now. everyone is a God self-creator. The more that we start letting go of all the classifications, of seeing who's in what dimensional level of consciousness they are, who's where, and all this separation and classification, and just looking at each other as God self-creators, we'll actually start living together because we're actually putting out these thought forms of unity. There's no levels of higher or lower, better or worse. So that's the main thing that we're doing here today. And there's one other thing that I'd like to say before we get started with the meditation, is that the crystal skull consciousnesses are no different than you or I, except they just don't have an ego. That's the only difference between this crystal skull consciousness and who we are. The true essence of who we are, an I am presence or God self that we are, is formlessness. That is experiencing reality through a physical body that has many levels of filters, which are the chakra system, and it also is attached to an ego. A consciousness of, say, that exists in a crystal skull does not have all those filters. It doesn't have a, say, an ego consciousness. So the pure flow of that knowledge, of that consciousness, just flows freely. The crystal skulls, there's many teams of the crystal skull consciousnesses here on Earth right now, and they're all to assist humanity, along with all the other beings of love in all dimensional levels. There's many beings of light here right now, and around the Earth, assisting all. But the main thing is, we in physical form have to do our parts, just like the crystal skull teams are doing their part, along with assisting the organization of the crystalline grids and how they're actually being constructed, and so on. They have their own roles in this whole time period. It's so, us gathering together here today, and in any way that we can from these days, to simply put forth our efforts in being who we truly are, our own God self consciousnesses, beyond duality, or however you wish to view it, duality views. The more that those thought forms are flowing through the grids, that assist everyone, because it makes it easier for them to actually expand and grow through their own paths, simply by us putting our energetic thought forms out into the grid that flow through the energetic systems and bloodstreams. There's no one on Earth right now that is separate from one another. We are all sitting in one room. Every single soul on Earth right now, we are sitting in one room. We are not separate. The room in itself is just the Earth, which is actually pretty small. So the more that we just be ourselves and ground more of our own essence here, assists everyone. So take another breath and get focused. The reason why I put us all in this formation of a spiral, we have been conditioned in so many ways that everything essentially just goes around in a circular motion. Everything just comes back. But the true essence of who we are is infinite. It continues. We just don't go around in the same circle over and over and over. That's the levels of our consciousness are tied to linear time, and we're moving out of linear time to where we're going to see our infinite consciousness, our infinite ways of being. So the spiral in itself is the same formation of our DNA. It's the same formation as the spiral of the universe. the spiral of the energetic systems of our chakra systems and everything else is all continuous. It doesn't end. So this spiral that we do also links our energetic systems to be spiraling down into the earth and also spiraling up. So close your eyes and just breathe. I hereby state that my I am presence, my own God self, I am. Connect with each of your I am presences. That everything in alignment with this meditation is in alignment with our highest good and divine will. That everything is in harmony and balance. With your breaths, breathe in source light that you are. And with your out breath, just release the source light that you are out of your heart chakras. And we're all sitting outwards to see that every breath that we take and every ounce of love that we're sharing radiates out instead of inwards. We're expanding out instead of going in a downward spiral or expanding out in an outward spiral that's going to continue from this day into infinity. With the assistance of Metatron, Archangel Metatron, hereby working with everyone's energetic systems in alignment with your highest good and divine will, we're going to release some energy so we'll be able to ground more energies. Going through your energetic systems now with the assistance of my own I am and the silver violet flame. Hereby transmuting all energies in all forms that are not in alignment with your highest good and divine will and all dimensional levels of your being and timelines and or any energy program or coding that's not relevant to your highest good and divine will is hereby transmuted to light now. Breathe. Be very important to breathe. Do a lot of this because the breathing actually helps moving the energy through your energetic systems. Now going through your energetic systems, again with your in accordance with the will of your I am presences and God self monads, Mother, Father, Source, assistance of Metatron again, and the silver violet flame, hereby dissolving to light all energies, interdimensional ties, black holes, or any connection to any realm within existence that no longer serves you in alignment with your highest good and divine will. All these energetic connections or energies are hereby transmuted to light now. Breathe. Now ask assistance of Mother, Father, Source to bring down enhanced quotants of Mahatma love without conditions down through the higher dimensional levels of our being, all in harmony and balance in all that our physical bodies and other levels of our being can handle in harmony and balance. Bringing down this Mahatma love down through this spiral vortex here now, flowing through our energetic systems and grounding down into center Mother Earth now. Now I ask the assistance of Metatron, again with the assistance of our I am presences, And with the Crystal Skull teams of love, specifically Max and George, the main team members that I know the best. They're here assisting us right now in alignment with our highest good and divine will to assist in bridging our energetic systems and along in harmony and balance with the crystalline grids on Earth, to assist our energetic systems in all dimensional levels of our being in integrating our own personal source codes relevant to our own personal existence. With the assistance of Metatron and the Crystal Skull teams, working with each individual and integrating your own personal codes of source light relevant to your own existence and personal seed blueprints of creation now. Breathe. I now bring enhanced quotance of love, Mahatma love, and with the assistance of Mother Earth, radiating out of this ground in this spiral up through all dimensional levels of our being, out into and distributed evenly through the earth grids, all in harmony and balance. So that now that we got our own energetic systems flowing freely, I asked the keeper of this region on Earth and Mother, Father, Source, authorization to ground source codes of the 11-11-11 energies and the goddess energies. Breathe. Now, with the assistance of Metatron, Crystal Skull teams of love, each of our I Am presences and our own God Self monads, all in harmony and balance, and all dimensional levels of our being. I hereby bring in the 11-11-11 source codes, streaming down through the higher levels of our being, integrating down through our physical bodies now, flowing down into the center of Mother Earth, grounding, being distributed out into the grid now, flowing. The assistance of our individual I Am presences and God Self monads, this increased source light and goddess energies, awakening our own personal source codes within us. It is these source codes that we have, that the more of us that flow freely from the hearts, the more that our own personal source codes flow through the grids of perfection that assist all humanity in finding their own path. I now radiate with the assistance of each one of you with your intention to radiate out through your hearts and your own personal source codes out into this water for which we sit by. We take our presence now over top the water and radiate this source code to perfection that we are without conditions. And we amplify this water with our own love to radiate out into this region. The source codes grounding now with the assistance of Metatron and the crystal skull consciousnesses of love. Breathe. Take your awareness to the water and just love it without conditions. No intentions. Just love it to the purity of the water it is, to the purity of consciousness that you are, beyond all illusion. Amplifying love that we are out into the grids and all dimensional levels that flows around the earth and amplifies and joins with all the other people and all the other souls and beings within this quadrant of creation that are assisting and grounding more unity consciousness. And we are just joining together and hugging, and letting our hearts open, and flowing out. Continue to breathe and visualize your own energies expanding, amplifying with the water, the crystalline water, flowing through all levels on earth. Now, if you wish to affirm out loud and simply state your will of being your own God and God itself, you can repeat after me out loud if you wish. I am that I am.
I am that I am.
Love without conditions.
Love without conditions.
Now.
Now.
Breathe. True flow of source light is beyond what the ego can see and or feel. And you can each open your eyes now to simply see the light that lights up this space. And know within your heart and connecting with it that basically you are the light that lights up this land here on earth. And there's nothing in existence that is outside of you. Whenever you feel that you are small and or something is controlling you, take yourself and expand yourself out to beyond the size of the earth and look back on it. The reason why you're able to even look back on the earth is because you are already there. You are already ascended masters. And the ascended masters are you. It is just your future selves that you are integrating this knowledge of. The more that we actually integrate and release all the illusion that we are not the ascended masters and God selves, we're just stepping into our own roles of actually awakening to who we really are. So with your breaths and it opening your hearts wider and wider, just radiate the love that you are and everywhere you look and see right now. And from this day that we walk in our daily lives with our hearts wide open, that we encompass everything that we come in contact with instead of separate ourselves from anything. If we feel fear, we encompass it. If we feel any shade of light within creation, we encompass it. We see from the eye and knowingness that we are the light that created every shade of light that exists within this level of existence. (2011) was the time of remembering, making choices. And 2012 is the year of creation, where are we stepping into our own God self, creator selves. The more that we individually and collectively join together as the God creators that we are, the more that everything will move in harmony and balance in the days ahead. I thank Metatron, George and Max, the Crystal Skull teams, and each of you for being here and having the willingness to be and learn more about your own selves and be and share the source codes that you are. And I ask, just from this day, we each share the source codes that we are without conditions to all that exists. put your hands to the ground, face into the ground or feel the ground. Connecting down in through your earth star chakras. With your breath, just ground all the love that we have and all the energy and focus down into center Mother Earth. Breathe, ground, ground, ground. Grounding, grounding, grounding. Flowing, flowing, flowing out into all dimensional levels. Within this universe. You start to move around. Bring your focus back to your bodies. Stand up and move around whenever you like. So, thank you for coming, joining together and sharing your time, and being willingness to the more that we're willing to share ourselves and share our own resources and doing together, I think we'll all be able to move into this creator phase of this journey that we're doing. Everything will be move along a little easier for everybody. Okay, thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Joe.
I'm Gabriella.
Thank you for coming. Cool. I'm glad you made it.
I wondered if they got stuck in that truck.
Thank you very much, Joe.